back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, so this is another SBFBO review and I'm very excited to talk to you about another semi-finalist, which is always exciting and one that I think you guys should definitely pick up. This is a lit RPG book, so possibly not for everyone, but if you are interested in books about role-playing stats inspired by that anyway, then this is absolutely for you. I would compare this to Andrew Rowe's books if you've read them. I really enjoyed the Andrew Rowe books. I still enjoy them whenever he comes out with a new one, and I recommended him a couple years back for SBFBO. He was one of my top picks then, so I definitely think if you like his stuff, you will almost definitely like this series, or start of the series with this book. So we are introduced to a character called Amal, and Amal is what is known as a Hizine in this world. He is considered to be kind of half spirit, and people look down on him because apparently his mother must have mated with some sort of spirit, and therefore he has been born and he is just frowned upon. It's something basically the lowest of the low in this world. His mother died when he was incredibly young, and he grew up in a village that really did not want him to be there, and he kind of was tolerated more than anything else. He's never really had any friends or any acquaintances who look out for him. He's just kind of got by, and he knows that as he gets older, the village wants him even less and is less responsible for him, so he knows he will have to at some point leave this village. Now, his village is incredibly isolated. He doesn't know a lot about the wider world, but this world that it's set in has a university called the Ascala Academy, and this is where all the magic users of this world kind of go and train and come out the other side as elite magical users. It is a very classical magic school setup, and of course the majority of the book takes place in this sort of magical academy. I personally enjoy a magic academy sort of setup, but I know it's not always something for everyone. I enjoyed this one. I think it certainly worked well and was fun to read about as our characters progress through the various levels and training and montages, that kind of thing. I also think that some of the other things I really liked about this book were the friendships. Amal comes from a place where he's had no friends. He's grown up in a world very isolated, yet when he comes to the academy he does make some friends, and those friends are everything to him. They become incredibly important in his life. They become a really valued part of his world and people he can confide in, which is something he's never had before. And I really liked seeing the way that the friendships were formed and developed as time went on, because I do feel as though it was quite a genuine friendship between the three, and that they kind of banded together more and more through events that went on. They had reason to get closer and reason to kind of develop that trust level based on the events that happen. And I definitely liked seeing that. I always enjoy a good solid friendship, and I think this book certainly showcases a good friendship. There are different levels of leadership in this book. We actually see quite a variety of different leadership styles as well, because we have all the different staff who work at the academy, and some of them are very much rooting for Amal and rooting for him to have success and to overcome prejudice. And then there are others who are not rooting for him and are prejudiced or are kind of predisposed against him because of the advantages he might have over them. And I enjoyed seeing the kind of juxtaposition of all the different staff members and how they treated him, how he dealt with it, how his friends dealt with it. And some of the obstacles that they have to overcome are indeed people in this world who maybe don't necessarily believe in or trust them. So I enjoyed seeing the way that they navigated that tricky set of circumstances. The magic of this world is pretty awesome, and there are a lot of like creatures in this world as well. We have kind of two magical systems almost, where obviously the creatures are like a fantastical being of themselves, but then you have this sort of statistical ranking that you can level up, and inside of that there's also the skill ranking that you can level up. So you may have lots and lots of different skills that will all factor into an overall fighting or an overall physical or mental or various other categories. So this skill level goes up and then your overall skill in that particular area will go up as well. And basically you have to reach a certain point before your magical ability is truly unlocked. But the Ascala Academy sends out people into the world to scout for those with magical potential, and that is how Amal is picked up right at the beginning of the book, along with some of the others in his year. So yeah, it was an interesting concept, and actually everyone has their own different types of magic. They can all do different things, and their stats grow at different speeds based on whatever they do. Amal is at a bit of an advantage because of events that we learn about quite quickly over the course of the book. And I found that was a little frustrating for me. That's one of my things that I maybe didn't love about this book as much, is that he is at a significant advantage over some of his friends due to what goes on and how he was born. But with that being said, it doesn't only put him at an advantage. He is also at a disadvantage because of some of the reasons, some of the qualities that he has higher levels in. And I personally liked seeing him kind of overcome the unknown, shall we say, because no one has seen someone quite like him before, and no one really understands exactly what his magic will be, or how powerful he is, or how he got the magic he has. So there's a lot of question marks around him and his powers, and I do think that that is a kind of interesting factor in the storyline. But I didn't love how powerful he was at first, because it felt a little bit overpowered at times to me as well. And sometimes it felt almost like he was a little bit too easy, like his journey was too easy. So yeah, I'm glad there were still obstacles, even though he has a higher magical ability than some and a higher skill set than some. He still has a lot of obstacles in sort of the friendships and the enemies that he's forming, and some of the tasks he's put up against are quite difficult for someone like him who's very fresh into all of this. So there were still obstacles, but there were moments where I thought, I wish maybe he'd had a slightly harder time there. At other times I felt maybe he was being put up against all sorts of really hard things. So I don't know, maybe it evens out. Seduction is a really key part of this, and possibly something not everyone's going to enjoy. Amal is a bit of a playboy, I would say, at first. He definitely has slept with lots of ladies and girls, and he is not afraid to talk about it. He's not really a rapey kind of character, thank goodness. There are some in this book who are not very nice and who have to be told off and kind of warned, but he's not that. He's just very charismatic, and he has a particular power that makes him even more so and even more attractive to people. So it's almost like he can't really help how attractive he is, which is a little bit grating on me. I just maybe wish his kind of key powers were anything else besides seduction. However, I do think seduction can be a useful skill when it comes to like charming people and, you know, getting people to do what you'd like and getting people to get on side and that sort of thing. So I think the story does gear a little bit more in that direction than just a lot of sexy time, which I was quite pleased about, because, you know, much as we all like a bit of sexy time, I don't think it was something that felt very appropriate in the middle of this story to kind of hark back to, and yet it is something that he has a skill set for. So it could have gone either way, but I actually think, even though this is a story where there is a focus on seduction as a key skill, it didn't feel like it overpowered the story at all. It just felt like it was something that he was able to do but didn't really utilize that much, and I enjoyed that fact that he didn't utilize it as much as he could have. I do think that the rivalries in this were a little stereotypical. If I was going to sort of nitpick, I would say that. But overall, I would say, you know, so many books have like a classic high school rivalry, and I think this is very much that. In the end, I think although some things are a little predictable and some things could have maybe changed slightly for me to enjoy it even more, I did really enjoy this. By the ending, I was really, really invested. I definitely want to know what's going to happen next. I will certainly be picking up the next one in the series when it comes out, and I'm very intrigued about where we're going to go from here, because it feels like things are just beginning in this book, and I really want to kind of continue and see where things are going to end up. I ended up giving this one a solid 4.25 out of 5, which is 8.5 out of 10 for SBFBO, and this is a semi-finalist for me, a really strong one as well, and I certainly enjoyed this. So I would love to have your thoughts down below. Does it sound like something you'd like to read? Let me know. Please go and pick it up if so, and I will see you very soon in another SBFBO video. Bye all!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.